watch it. You're required to call the parent class constructor from the child class using the base keyword. Using the base keyword. Earlier we learned about this keyword now. Same way we have base keyword. This keyword refers to current class. Base keyword refers to parent class. How to call it? Like this, guys. Colon base. When I say base here, observe it all of you. When I say base here, what is it showing you? It is referring to class 1 and int I. Class 1 int I. And I'm passing a value. I'm passing a value. Now the value 10 will go to class 1. Watch it. Watch it, guys. The value enter. So when it explicitly call, if the constructor is a default, it will implicitly call. If the constructor is parameterized, we should explicitly call. But problem now is the value 10 what I passed here is static. The value 10 what I passed here is static. Yeah, this is a static value. Always the same value 10 will go. Always the same value 10 will go. Can I make it dynamic now? If you want to make it dynamic, what do you do? Pass a parameter to class 2 constructor. Pass a parameter to class 2 constructor. I'm passing a parameter to class 2 constructor. When I pass a parameter to class 2 constructor, what should I do? I need to pass the value when I'm creating an instance of the class 2. Suppose I'm passing a value 50. Okay. Just going to pass a value, and now this particular value will come here, and now I can pass this particular value to the parent now. I can pass the value to the parent now. See, now the value 50 comes to here. Understood my point? Okay. So the value 50, what I passed here, the value 50, what I passed here comes to X now. And the value X is passed to the parent now. And the value went there. So now see, earlier what we learned, by creating instance of a class, we can pass values to the parameters of the class. We can pass values to constructors of the class. Earlier what we learned is by creating the instance of a class, we can pass values to the constructors of the class. But today what I'm showing, by creating instance of a child class, creating instance of a child class, you're passing values to the constructor of the parent class. By creating child class instance, we are passing values to the constructor of the parent class now. Yeah, we are passing values to the constructor of the parent class. From the child, you're passing values to the constructor of the parent class in this case now. Okay, so the value first goes to child class constructor, and from the child class, it is going to call the parent class constructor. And now tomorrow, if at all you have class 3, guys listen, tomorrow if at all you're just going to have class 3. Class 3 is responsible to pass values to class 2. Class 3 is responsible in passing values to class 2. And class 2 is responsible in passing the values to class 1. Class 3 will not send values to class 1. Class 3 is actually responsible for sending the values to class 2, and class 2 has to send the values to class 1. Suppose there are 10 classes like this, 10 classes like this. 10th class is responsible in sending the value to 9th class. 9th class is responsible in sending the value to 8th class, 8 to 7, 7, 6, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 like this. But 10th class is not responsible in sending the value to class 1. It is responsible in sending the value only to its immediate parent. 10 to 9, 9 to 8, 8 to 7 like this. So this is the 6th rule of inheritance. Read this, guys. Rule number 6. Read completely, yeah. Read completely. Are you clear, guys? Okay. So that's it. So if at all you just want, these are the six rules of inheritance. These are the six important rules of inheritance. All the six. Now, the next thing here is the next important thing here is okay, guys. The next important thing here is we understood the various different types of inheritances and all the things, all the six rules. Six. These are the six rules here. All the six rules. Now, see, how do we use this inheritance in our application development? How do we use inheritance in our application development? This is a big question now. How to use inheritance in our application development? Okay, let me clarify you how to use inheritance in our application development. See, guys, if at all you want to use inheritance in your applications, how do I use them? Listen to me. See, uh, Listen to me carefully, guys. Last week, I explained you a case study of an ATM machine. When I explained the case study of an ATM machine, what did I say? Guys, what did I say, guys? I was just telling you about I was telling you about this. When you are developing an application, the first step is to identify the entities in the application, right? What is the first step, guys? To develop an application, what is the first step? To develop an application, what is the first step? Identify the entities in the application. Okay. So what are the yeah, we need to identify the entities that are associated with the application. We need to identify the entities that are associated with the application. Second step, what is the second step? Attributes. Identify the attributes that are associated with an application. So the second step is to identify the attributes that are associated with the application. Okay. Third step is designing a database, and fourth step is designing an application. Third step is to design the database. Fourth step is to design the application. I hope you remember all the things. Okay. Now, all of you, observe this. I want to develop a school application, guys. I want to develop a school application. And I completed all the three things. Have a look, all of you. Identification of the entities, identification of the attributes, all these particular three things. All of you, carefully look at all the three things. Okay, now. So these are the three things. So identification and all the things. Designing a database, you're required to design the database, and in the database, you'll be just having a, yeah, you'll be designing a database there. And after creating a database, you will be creating tables and store all the data into the tables. You'll be storing all the data into the tables now. What next, guys? The next thing here is to create an application now. The next step here is to create an application. Okay. The next step is to create the application. We just require to design or create the appropriate applications now. We need to do that. Okay. So how to create this application? Let's try to understand how to create this application. So listen. If at all you just wanted to create an application, now, the very important thing what you just require to remember, all of you, is will be every entity will become a class now. Every entity will now become a class now. How many classes? Three classes. And in each class, the attribute should be defined as. In each class, the attribute should be defined as fields. We require to define everything, every attribute in the form of a field. Everything should be defined in the form of a field. Okay. So that's what the important thing. Everything can be defined in the form of a field right now. In the form of a field, you can define it. Okay, guys. Now, just understand this one. What is that? How many attributes every class is going to have? How many? Count and tell me. Yeah, 8 attributes. So everything is going to have 8 attributes to you in this case, right? Okay. So in everything, we are just going to have 8 attributes now. So like this, 8 attributes will be there for you under each and everything. Okay, guys? Fine. Very well. Now, the very important point here is we can define all the 8 attributes here. Well and good. Yeah, we can define all the 8 attributes here. Well and good. We can just do that. No issues. But just understand one thing here. What is that? What is that? When you're defining the 8 attributes, when you're just going to define the 8 attributes, 8 attributes in each and everything. We have a drawback here. What is the drawback? The drawback is like just understand what is the drawback. If you're defining eight attributes in each and everything, if you're defining eight attributes in each and everything, the drawback will be like, what about this here? This ID, you take this ID into consideration. ID is going to be defined for 4 times in a class, name 4 times in a class. Like this, the things are going to be defined for multiple times. When the things are going to be defined for multiple times, is it not code duplication? When the things are going to be defined for multiple times, is it not a code duplication, guys? Yes or not? It is a serious code duplication problem what we have. It's a serious code duplication problem what we're just going to have. Okay, so that's really going to be a big problem because of the code duplication what we just require to face. So if at all you want to resolve this code duplication, if at all you means 4 times you declare ID, 4 times name, 4 times phone, 4 times address, defining 4 times each and everything is going to be a duplication of the code. It's going to be a big duplication of the code. How can I avoid this code duplication now? How can I avoid this code duplication? How can the code duplication be avoided here? So that's the big doubt in our minds. Okay, so to overcome this particular code duplication problem, guys, if at all you want to overcome this code duplication problem, what you have to do is didn't even ask first, guys.